Alright, today we're making one of those fancy wall decorations that people see on Pinterest and instantly say, "Oh, that's cool, probably costs like 300 bucks." Meanwhile, it's basically wood, glue, laser smoke and poor financial decisions. The goal is simple: minimalist oak frame, black textured background, white flower design. Basically, modern interior design starter pack. First step, opening our Workshop, which still looks like software that was designed on Windows XP and emotionally never recovered. I start by creating a rectangle for the background panel. Then I fill it with these vertical lines that are going to create texture on the black MDF. Now here's the interesting part. Normally, when laser cutting, the focus distance between the laser head and the material is around 5 millimeters. That's where the laser is perfectly focused and cuts cleanly through material like it owes him money. But this time, I actually want the laser to be out of focus. So instead of 5 millimeters, I raise the laser head to 15 millimeters above the material, which basically turns the laser beam from a precise cutting tool into controlled destruction. Instead of slicing through the MDF, the beam becomes wider and burns these thick soft stripes into the surface. And honestly, this is one of those moments where doing something technically wrong somehow produces a better result. Woodworking in general is kind of like that. You spend years learning the correct methods, and then one day some guy on YouTube burns wood on purpose and gets to million views. Once all the stripes are finished, I cut the full rectangle out of the sheet. And laser cutting MDF always smells exactly the same. Like a barbecue mixed with electrical fire. Probably healthy, definitely healthy. The stripes came out super clean though. The texture gives the panel a really premium look already. Next step, cleaning the panel. I'm using foam cleaner to remove all the smoke residue and dust from the surface. And this part always feels satisfying, because before cleaning, the MDF looks like it survived a house fire. But after wiping it down, suddenly it looks expensive. The black gets deeper, slightly glossy, and the texture becomes way more visible. This is basically the woodworking equivalent of washing your car and immediately gaining confidence. Now it's time for the main decorative element, the flower design. I start by preparing the silhouette inward works. And honestly, this part takes way longer than it probably should. Because when you work with laser cutting, every tiny detail matters. Too many small cuts, the piece becomes fragile. Too little detail, it starts looking like clip art from Microsoft Word 2007. So there's always this balancing act between modern elegant wall art and kindergarten stencil. After adjusting the lines and spacing, the design is finally ready. And now we move on to cutting it from white HDF. This is always one of my favorite parts because laser cutters make everything look extremely professional, while simultaneously making the entire room smell like burning furniture. The machine starts tracing the flower piece by piece, and watching lasers work never gets old. It's basically concentrated light moving around at high speed pretending it's smarter than me, which honestly, it probably is. The cut itself takes a while because there are tons of small details and sharp corners in this design. And every time the laser changes direction, you can hear the machine aggressively fighting for its life. The laser leaves behind smoke residue and burn marks around the edges, so before this can become wall art instead of crime scene evidence, we need to clean it, so I grab acetone and start wiping the entire surface down. And this step honestly feels magical every single time. The smoke marks disappear, the white gets brighter, and suddenly the whole piece starts looking super crisp and premium. Also, the smell of acetone immediately makes the workshop feel 40% more professional. Probably also 40% more hazardous, but mainly professional. After cleaning, the contrast between the black background and the bright white flower looks insanely good. At this point, the project already looks like something you'd see in a Scandinavian furniture store with suspiciously soft lighting and absolutely no visible price tags. Now it's time for the part nobody really notices. But the part that keeps this whole thing from falling off the wall, the back supports and mounting system. I designed these pieces inward works as well and cut them from 6mm plywood. The supports help stiffen the whole panel so it doesn't flex or warp over time. Because nothing says premium wall art quite like slowly bending in the middle after 2 weeks. The mounting system itself is made from 2 layers of 3 mm plywood that slide into each other. One part attaches to the wall, the other to the frame. Simple, hidden, and surprisingly strong. Honestly, one of my favorite mounting methods because it looks professional, while still being made from laser-cut plywood scraps. Now we move on to the oak frame, and honestly, this is the part that completely changes how expensive the final piece looks. Without the frame, nice laser project. With the frame, suddenly it looks like something from an interior design store where every lamp costs your monthly salary. I start by cutting the oak strips at 45-degree angles so the corners meet cleanly together. At least, that's the goal. Because woodworking math is weird, you can measure everything perfectly, double-check every angle, and somehow still end up with a tiny gap that appears out of nowhere like a supernatural event. So I carefully cut each piece and dry fit the frame first before gluing anything. And thankfully everything lines up pretty well, which honestly feels suspiciously successful. Usually one corner always decides to become slightly illegal for no reason. Once the cuts look good, I add wood glue and start assembling the frame. Now this is one of those moments where you realize clamps are basically the real heroes of woodworking. Without clamps, chaos. With clamps, suddenly I look competent. I use these special corner clamps to hold everything together while the glue dries. And honestly, they look less like woodworking tools and more like equipment designed to interrogate medieval prisoners. But they work incredibly well. Now we wait for the glue to cure, which, once again, is woodworking's favorite activity. Standing nearby pretending to inspect things professionally while actually just hoping nothing moves.
One eternity later.
After the frame dries, I remove the clamps and check all the corners. And thankfully, everything came together cleanly. No giant gaps, no twisted corners, no emotional breakdowns, a rare woodworking victory. So first I glue the striped MDF panel into the oak frame. And this is one of those steps where you suddenly become extremely aware of gravity. Because if the panel shifts even slightly while the glue dries, you'll notice it forever, so naturally, I need weight. Once the panel is secure, I glue on all the reinforcement pieces and the wall mounting system. And this part actually makes a huge difference. Before the supports, the whole thing still feels a little delicate. After adding them, suddenly it feels solid and properly built. Like something that could survive shipping instead of immediately turning into modern art fragments. Now professional woodworkers probably use proper clamping systems for this. I use gym plates, because apparently this workshop slowly becomes half woodworking studio, half fitness center. I stack a couple of weight plates on top to keep even pressure across the panel while the glue sets. And honestly, if a 20-kilogram gym plate can survive being dropped repeatedly in a gym, it can probably handle decorative wall art duty as well.
One eternity later.
Now while all the glue cures, I move on to finishing the oak frame with oil. And this is always one of the most satisfying parts of woodworking. The second oil touches the wood, everything changes instantly. The grain becomes deeper, the color warms up, and suddenly the oak looks way more expensive. It's basically the woodworking version of turning saturation up in Photoshop. I wipe off the excess oil and let the frame soak everything in. And finally, I glue the white flower design onto the black background. This is one of those stressful moments where you only get one proper chance. Because once the glue grabs, that flower lives there forever. 1 millimeter crooked, congratulations. You'll notice it every single day for the rest of your life. And honestly, this came out way cleaner than I expected. Minimalist oak frame, textured black background, sharp white flower design. Simple project, but super elegant result. And the best part is, it actually looks like something from a high-end interior design store. Except this one was made with laser smoke, acetone fumes, and questionable confidence. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like, subscribe, and let me know in the comments. Would you hang something like this on your wall? Or immediately try selling it online for 4 times the material cost?